Hey, this is Tyrese Anderson. What I want to talk about right now is a question that has constantly been on the minds of a lot of people, which is that will Putin actually start a nuclear war as a retaliation for the West interfering in the Ukraine war? Now, the first answer I have to give to answer this question is simply put it, most likely not. Because the truth of the matter is that anyone who uses their brain, to keep it real, which Vladimir Putin, whether you like him or not, is an intelligent person due to the fact that he's a leader of a nation. And becoming a leader of a nation is an extremely complicated thing. It is a very, very, very hard thing to do. Most people could not become leaders even of a small nation. It's an extremely complicated skill to become good at. You have to be a very bright person, okay, truth be told. Which he is a leader of a nation and a very powerful nation too. You know, so as a result of that, I am certain, and just down to even common sense to go along with it, he is probably smart enough to know that it would probably not be a good idea, and in general, not be a good idea to launch a nuclear war against the United States for them interfering in Ukraine, which let's keep it real now. Whether you like to admit it or not, Ukraine is an insignificant country when it comes to, in all honesty, on the grand scale of things. I'm not going to get too much into more to explain that because I think it's kind of self-explanatory. I'm not talking down on them. I'm just keeping it real. In the grand scheme of things, Ukraine is actually really insignificant in the world stage. Not really much happens there, and it's kind of irrelevant, truth be told, in the world stage when it comes to power, economics, and all that sort of stuff, truth be told. So to think that Putin, who is a part of a nation that is extremely powerful, one of the most powerful in the face of the planet, and in some ways might actually still kind of be the second most powerful country, because power is not just rated based simply on simply the fact of, well, I have this amount of money and stuff. Because China, when it comes to power, they have a lot of power because they have a lot of money. And a better example would be their Japan, for the longest time, was economically the world's second most powerful country. For the 20th century, actually, believe it or not, it historically was the second most economically powerful nation on the face of the planet. Truth be told, and Russia, or at the time they called it the Soviet Union, came third. eh, to keep it real. So you can't measure it simply based on economics. It comes down to things like influence. Because when you have things like influence, which Russia does, because a lot of countries in the world support it, it makes Russia powerful. Not just simply based on the amount of money this nation has. It's based on power. Russia's very, very, very powerful still. There's a lot of nations in Latin America, particularly, that love Russia. There's a lot of Eastern European nations and just in general people from Eastern European nations that love Russia. Russia's very powerful. And to think that they're going to risk it all simply over a nation like Ukraine, to keep it real, I don't really believe that. I don't think they're going to do it, to be quite blunt with you. That's the truth of the matter. But here's the thing, though, as I'm certain a lot of us have realized about humanity, is that when people are doing well in life and are doing just in general things are going their way, they think logically. But when things are not going away, they think illogically. They think in a stupid way, or more likely, a more unpredictable way that doesn't make any sense. There's a lot of people in the world who are healthy and very intelligent people for a time. Now you see them, it's like they're a freaking madman, if anything, because they have issues like dementia or they suffer from mental illness, so they can't think straight like they used to. And Putin in recent times has been demonstrating some characteristics of people who kind of have mental deficiencies from his irrational behavior when he spoke with President Zelensky. He said, I will thrash you. When Zelensky wanted to have peace talks, the fact that he also randomly just simply called the people who are defending their nation Nazi thugs, which I don't really know how that makes any sense. Pro skinhead Nazi thugs or something along the lines of that, which I don't know how that makes any sense and how that goes along with the anti-Western narrative that Russia tends to put out there. America's the bad guy. I don't know how Ukraine would have anything to do with the Nazis at all. If anything, quite the contrary. But yeah, like you get the point. Like his behavior has been kind of off in recent times, to be quite blunt with you. He hasn't been thinking logically, and he's been kind of doing some weird things that show it. And as the saying goes, and by Sun Tzu, never underestimate your enemy whenever you're going to war against someone. Because the truth about it is that it's more than just simply down to relatively shallow things people tend to make. Like, for example, well, you know, he doesn't have the most amount of manpower, he doesn't have the most amount of technology. Truth of the matter is, you never underestimate your enemy whenever you're going to combat against someone. Truth be told. And I'm speaking on behalf of the side of America. A lot of people are making fun of Putin now and saying he's a fucking clown because of how he's been acting. But truth be told, you never underestimate your enemy, because one of the biggest reasons you don't underestimate your enemy is because when people are kind of, especially when they're kind of off and they realize that things are not going their way with the stress and stuff, you don't know what they're going to pull off. They might launch a huge offensive that doesn't make any sense, that they know is going to get a lot of people killed. They might do something like make a create explosion that could kill a lot of people. And in this context, of course, due to the situation, he might launch a nuclear weapon out of sheer desperation for something that he started in a war that we literally could have been avoided and literally had no justifiable means whatsoever. So truth be told, Zelensky, or more like Putin, I should say, Zelensky doesn't deserve to be mentioned here. It's more Putin's fault for this. Putin, truth be told, is like any person. You never underestimate them. You never joke around about things, especially with some of the models he's done about nuclear war against Britain and Ireland and stuff. I wouldn't joke around about it. They can do that. And he might feel, for some reason, because he might be going down and he knows his days are numbered, he might do something desperate as some last ditch plea. As I said before, he's kind of off with some of the ways he's been acting. So I would not underestimate it. So truth be told, what I think should be done, the solution to the situation is the U.S. should start planning counter missile attacks and even consider using a special military force to possibly take out Putin, or in other words, kill him. Because truth be told, I'm not really, uh, like super obsessed with killing people and all that type of stuff. But truth be told, if you're going to do something that could literally jeopardize the lives of everybody on the face of this planet over something that's really meaningless, that really, if anything, they should have played their cards right and just played a whole use counterinsurgents in a nation and also pull off anti-American propaganda, which Russia has been doing for the longest time and manipulating even a lot of Americans to believe. They should have done that instead of wasting their time with a silly war that could possibly end the world and have a lot of people killed. So truth be told, I think they should start planning. Anytime you go to war or anything like that, that situation, never underestimate your enemy. You don't know who people are. A lot of people, when they're desperate, might do things that you never thought. Even if you thought it's just like being in the streets, being in a gang or something. You don't know what's going through some people's heads, especially when they get desperate. You don't know what kind of crazy shit they might pull off that might even surprise you. Just because, this is what I'm trying to say. You don't know people. And in a case of a situation where you have nuclear weapons, I wouldn't play games. So, truth be told, this is a dangerous situation. This is not good. So, anyway, hopefully the situation gets resolved. And that is all I have to say. If you like this video and like videos like this, remember to hit the subscribe button and thumbs this up. And that is all I have to say. I hope you enjoyed it and hopefully the situation gets resolved because this is not good at all, man. This is not good at all.